Welcome to Brawlhalla!
Hello and welcome to another training room tutorial video where today we'll be going over all of the control basics in Brawlhalla. I'm Raven from Blue Mammoth Games. So we're going to go over all of the controls really quickly, and before we do any of the gameplay demonstration, I just want to show you how to get to the default controls so that if you're brand new to Brawlhalla, you can take a look at the control scheme. So if you hit pause, you can go down here into the controls menu from any gameplay screen and take a look at the 4 different layouts that we have by default. So we have one for keyboard players who like to move with their right hand, one with WASD controls and keyboard, one that has WASD movement and attacks on the mouse, in addition to a standard layout for an Xbox 360 controller, which is also compatible with a number of other USB controllers. So if you want to see where your buttons are, you can take a look at all of these, and if you really want to get interesting, you can go into change controls and actually rebind a bunch of these to your heart's content. But for now, in this video, what I'm going to be doing is referring to all of the moves in Brawlhalla by their names as opposed to their inputs. So I'm going to be saying things like quick and light attacks, heavy attacks, dodge, jump, etc. So let's go ahead and get into the game. Now, unlike some other 2D platform fighters, we have a maximum of 3 moves depending on the position that you're at. So let's go over grounded light attacks. So on the ground, you have a neutral, a side light, and a down light attack based on where you're pressing the buttons. So there is no up attack. If you try to hold up and do a light attack, you will get a neutral instead. So you have these 3 options available to you when you're on the ground. Additionally, you have the same inputs for heavy attacks on the ground, which are the special moves that we call signatures for each individual legend. So on Bodvar, for example, he has his neutral signature with his hammer, his side signature with the hammer, and of course, the down signature with his hammer. So again, when you're on the ground, you have 3 choices of light attacks and 3 choices of heavies. Again, it's a neutral, side, down, neutral, side, and down. In the air, you have the same 3 options with light attacks. You have a neutral air attack. You also have a side air. And, of course, you also have the down air, which, as I completely whiff it on Nash, because all of this is being recorded live. There we go. There's the down air. So you have those 3 light attack options in the air as well. Finally, you have 2 heavy moves in the air. So there are no side or up or back heavies in the air or anything like that. It's simply a recovery move, which is going to be neutral or up or side heavy. You're going to get your recovery, and this is just to kind of ensure that you're always going to get that recovery move when you want it. And of course, you also have the down heavy, which is what we commonly refer to as a ground pound, simply because you typically, pound the ground with it. So those are your airborne attacks. Now, to go over the other couple of buttons that you should know in order to play at Brawlhalla well is the dodge. When you dodge, you are going to have invulnerability frames for the duration of that dodge. I believe after the first 2 frames will start up a little advanced, but just know that if you dodge, you are going to dodge right through attacks and you're invulnerable for the duration. You can also use it to close the distance really well and use it as an approach tool in addition to, repositioning and everything else. Dodge is really useful for kind of making sure that you can reposition yourself around the map. You can also dodge in all 8 directions, so it's not completely 360 control, but you can do an 8-way directional dodge. Finally, let's go over the throwing. So whenever you pick up a weapon, you have the option to throw it, but it's different from picking up the weapon with light attack. To throw it, it is on a different button. For this example, on controller, it's the bumper button, and when you throw the weapon, it becomes a projectile. After throwing it, you have a few seconds to pick it back up before it's going to despawn, so you can use it to pressure an opponent and then continue to go ahead and pick it back up and land those attacks that we went over. And then, of course, you also have the jump button. Now, one of the things that's interesting about Brawlhalla is how many jumps that we give to everyone. You'll see when you're out of jumps that your legend is going to go slightly darker in color, which is just kind of a little indicator to let you know that you need to touch a wall or the platform in order to get your jumps back. All right, so that basically covers it for basic controls. And, you know, we're going to be doing a bunch of videos like this where I just go ahead and pick different gameplay topics and kind of walk everyone through it. I really hope that these type of videos will be useful to new players of Brawlhalla and that you will get some value out of it so that when you go back in a free-for-all or strikeout or the ranked ladder for 1v1 or 2v2 or however you decide to play Brawlhalla, that you've got a little bit more knowledge available to you, that you can go out there and have some fun in the Brawlhalla tournament. Anyway, for now, thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you would like to see more, and I'll see you next time for the next training room tutorial video.